And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Cheap Ludes. Let us continue with the tier list series. Today we're going to be ranking all of the power forwards in NBA 2K22, my team. Look, I know a lot of creators will say we're ranking the best or we're ranking all of the power forwards in the game. No. I have 188 cards in this list. I am ranking every single power forward in NBA 2K22, my team. No exception. Well, there's some exceptions. Duplicates would be an exception. Look, if you've watched enough tier lists, you know how these go. But for those of you who haven't, let me go over the parameters. Look, number one, I rank between both gens. I try to rank through all play styles and multiple various things that give a card intrinsic value. S tier, unquestionable best cards in the game. Yeah, this one's pretty clear too as well. I feel like we're at the point in the year when, or the point in the game's lifespan where it's very clear which cards are S tier and which ones aren't. You know what I mean? That's never really a debate. It's usually between A and B tier. That's usually where the iffiness comes. A tier, just a shade under S tier. I'll explain why each card is there. B tier, this is what majority of the community is going to use. A lot of cards that you use or people you know or watch use are going to be in B tier. C tier, this is going to be kind of a weird one. I feel like this is one of the more, not unbalanced positions, but there's a lot of outdated cards in the power forward tier for sure. C tier is where you're going to find a lot of those guys. D tier as well. I would say these are even more outdated cards. They can still kind of get buckets and do something occasionally, but for the most part, they are a little bit outdated. F tier, they can do like one thing pretty well, but that's about it. And trash tier, they're trash. So we'll start with Diamond Jaren Jackson Jr., D tier. There's going to be a lot of scrolling, by the way. As you can see, there's a lot of cards in here, man. Crazy. He's not really that good, D tier. He's just super outdated. I mean, this card came out in December, which, you know what? This card was really good when he came out, by the way. Same with Batum. I would say Batum is also D tier. I'm hoping to get a new Batum card relatively soon. That would be good. He was really good this year. He does like to step over the line, which is quite unfortunate. I'm not a huge fan of that. Scotty Barnes, also D tier. I think if this card had a better jump shot, he'd be up in C tier. I personally don't mind the jump shot, but I know a lot of people hate it. So I'm going to put him right here. I would probably I'd rank it like that. Amari, S. Amari's stupid. He's literally one of the best cards in the game, let alone power forwards in the game. I don't think I've ever ranked an Amari card above B tier, like ever. So it's kind of crazy even putting one in S tier. That really goes to show what 2K is up to this year. Bob Pettit, D. He might be C tier. You can give him badge upgrades. He's not all that bad. AK is C tier. Yeah, he's C. This card's not really that good anymore. I mean, it's super outdated. It's not really his fault. Anton Jameson is C tier as well. Once again, just kind of outdated. This card was really fire when he came out. It's just like nobody used him. I don't think I ever ran into an Anton Jameson out in the wild. I really don't. Thurl Bailey. I would say he's B tier just due to his jump shot. I personally like him. For my purposes, I would put him in A tier, but I think he's objectively like a high B tier guy. Grant Williams. Yeah, B for sure. Grant Williams is really good, dude. He's much better at the small forward position, but at that position, he's incredibly solid. Anthony Davis. AD is probably D tier. He is. He's just kind of outdated. It's not really his fault. Jermaine O'Neal is A tier. Jermaine O'Neal is ridiculously good. For about 40K, you can get one of the premier power forwards in the game, and that's pretty tight. I don't think many people are going to question Jermaine O'Neal A tier. I feel like there's going to be some psychos that want Grant Hill in A tier for whatever reason, though. I just feel like that's inevitable. JT Thor. JT Thor is kind of good. JT Thor is like C tier. He's really solid. He can kind of move, too. I actually like this card. Giannis. Low B tier. Giannis player build alone kind of gets him in the B tier conversation, but I would say low B tier is appropriate for Giannis. NBA 75 Anthony Davis, I think, is low B tier as well. Just with the badge upgrades that you can give this card, I think it puts him in the low B tier conversation, but I would use Thurl and Grant Williams over him. But obviously he can play the center, and he's not a terrible center. Antonio McDyess is like low C tier. He'll be towards the bottom. You guys know I rank within the tiers, so, you know, Blake Griffin and Antonio McDyess over here are not the same level as like Anton Jameson. It's not that far off, though, when it comes to Anton. This Big Blake is D tier. Not good. Karl Malone. Yeah, he's like D. This card's not that bad. With the Stockton duo, he's probably C tier, but regular, I would say D. Kenyon Martin. This card was really good too. It's just we had so many power forwards at the time that it's like no one really wanted to lock in all that MT for those signatures, but this card's very good. I mean, you can make a case that he's B tier, and I'm not going to like tell you you're correct, but I'm not going to argue it either, you know? Jay Crowder, dude. Yes. Oh, man. I kind of wish we got another Jay Crowder because I think Jay Crowder was really good this year. But that being said, he's like D tier. Just Sean Tate, D. He's too small to play both of the positions that he plays. This card's not awful, though. If he was like 2 inches taller, he's just like a broke-ass Grant Williams at that point. So I'd put him in C tier. But yeah, he's a 6'4" power forward, small forward. Like that's not ideal. Josh Smith. Josh Smith is really, really good. I mean, you could argue he's better than Grant Williams, but I think Grant Williams is better. So I'm going to put him in B tier, like right here. Bob Netolicky. A. Bob Netolicky is A tier for sure. I never thought I would say that sentence. Well, I guess not, because like I didn't know who Bob Netolicky was before. And by the way, anybody who's like, oh, yo, you're a casual, I knew all about Bob Netolicky. No, the fuck you did not. Like, no, you didn't know who Bob Netolicky is. I'm sorry. I've never seen anyone claim that someone's a casual for not knowing who Bob Netolicky was prior, but the internet exists and there's always going to be someone. Jaylen Johnson. Okay, so here's what I'll say about Jaylen Johnson. I actually think he's really good, and if you have a badged up version, I would put him like legitimately right here if you have a badged up version. I think regular version is probably like high C tier though. But if you badge him up with shooting badges, like this card is actually really good. Robert Covington. Big fan, but still D tier. Jeff Green, low D tier for sure. He's too good to throw him in F tier. I'm sorry. Larry Nance. He's like mid to low C tier for sure. Jerry Lucas. Dude, this card is an absolute snail. And I was going to say not in a good way, but I don't know why being called a snail would be good in any capacity. Dennis Rodman, trash. It's not Dennis Rodman's fault. It's just like Dennis Rodman cards in 2K, like, unless they can shoot, are not good. Josh Smith. Beast Josh Smith is up there in, like, D tier. I don't think he's quite C tier, but he might make his way up there because he is really good. Kelden Johnson. I'm a big fan of this card, and I might actually move him up as well. He's just a little bit small, but he's still good. Pink Diamond Zion. Not very good. Like, throw him over here. Like, I'm sorry. Bob Pettit. F. This Bob Pettit is F tier. This one's D tier. This one's F tier. This came out day one. It's not his fault. Kevin Love. D. Yeah, D tier for sure. All right. Take off Kevin Love. Ooh. Top of C tier. I think he does have some mobility issues, but this card's not entirely terrible. If you wanted to throw him up in B tier, I wouldn't dispute that. I could see it. Paul Silas. This card was stupid. Everyone was hunting for Paul Silas for a while, but yeah, that time is long past. That being said, give us another Paul Silas. And a Spencer Haywood, dude. Let my boy Spencer shine. James Worthy. One of the most slept on cards that we received in the NBA 75. I really do think this card is significantly better than all the D tier cards. I mean, Josh Smith, I guess you could argue, is a little bit better than James Worthy, or about at the same level, I would say. But it's closer than you think. Lauri Markkanen, I mean, he can shoot and play defense, so he's a little bit better than F tier, but still. Karl Malone. At this point, he's B tier, but like it's shocking that Karl Malone was ever even like A tier adjacent. You know what I mean? Jarrett Vanderbilt. I think this is going to be one of those cards that somebody's going to say is C tier, and I just don't buy it. Bojan, he can shoot and he lowers your overall, so I would keep him at a trash tier for that reason, but he's not really bringing you anything else. Bol B. Bol's B tier. He's kind of sluggish though. He doesn't really move that well. Like, he doesn't move as well as you would want him to, but he's still ridiculous, and he came out a while ago too. This Bol I would put in like C tier. He's not the greatest card in the world, so like right here. Boris Diaw. Diaw's really good. He's a really, really good point forward, so I would put him like towards the middle of C tier or B tier somewhere. This Boris Diaw, very good for an amethyst, though. I would still throw him like very, very low C tier for sure. Shout out to Boris Diaw, dude. Boris Diaw looks like he loves like a nice sandwich. Jamal Mashburn. This card was a lot better than people gave him credit for at the time too, but keyword at the time, so I would throw him over here. I think he was better than Batum though. It was just a play style match, you know what I mean? Hakeem Warwick, he's not very good. D. Jerry Lucas, okay. He's not terrible. I'd throw him like low C tier. Like, he's not horrible. He's just not the greatest movement-wise, but he can kind of splash, though. Like, he's all right. Like, C tier. James Worthy, A. For sure. I think Jermaine O'Neal is slightly better than James Worthy, but once again, it's kind of one of those things where it just depends how you feel. I really wish I would have grinded for James Worthy, but I just didn't have it in me. You know what I mean? Garnett, D. He's outdated, but he's still up there. This card was everybody's center for, like, a little while, for sure. Pink Diamond NBA 75 Giannis, C tier. He just wasn't that good stats-wise. That's it. Marvin Bagley, I would throw in C tier as well. He's very good, especially at the Amethyst tier. You know who loves Marvin Bagley? Commander-in-Chief George H.W. Bush, for sure. I'm so happy I pulled that card. I'm about to get it PSA graded, dude. No lie. I'm about to get a PSA grade. I don't even care. It's going to be like a... I don't know, like a 6.5, but it's going to be worth it. If anybody's got a 10 out of 10, George H.W. Bush, holler at me, dude. Calvin Nat was really good when he came out, too, as well, but it's just been a really long time. Julius Randle. I actually think this card is a lot better than people give him credit. He's solid. I don't know if he's better than Josh Smith and Diaw. I think he's not better than Josh Smith just because his defense is kind of lacking. His player build is kind of whack, but he's B tier. This Julius Randle, not half bad either. I would throw him like higher in D tier. Stromile Swift, I can't disrespect my boy too hard, but he's not very good either, so D. John Collins, pretty outdated, so I would say D tier. He came out in season 3, I think. It's been a while. LaFonso Ellis, same thing. I really like those two cards, though. Be nice to see new versions of them, you know? Larry Legend, D. Jamal Mashburn, yes, dude, it's my boy. He's actually really solid, especially at the small forward. He's very good, like C tier. Aaron Gordon, maxed out Aaron Gordon's probably like the best card in D tier, in my opinion, anyway. Cam Johnson, I actually really like. I would throw him in C tier. Like, this card's very fun to use. Like, no lie, I might drop Worthy. Worthy's probably the one that I'm gonna drop. Josh Smith, I like a lot, so I might keep him, but Worthy's probably the one I drop off. Juwan Howard's ass. I don't care what anyone said. I don't care how much you like Michigan. Like, Juwan Howard sucks. Charlie Villanueva, best card in D tier. Second best. Aaron Gordon's still a little bit better. But Charlie V can stretch the floor. He can do a little bit of everything. He's all right. This one's going to be contentious, but I actually think that this one is like low C tier. Like, this Jaren Jackson can still go out there and get buckets. I just proved this in Limited, okay? And I suck. Remember that. Chemezi Metu? I don't know how to say that. I never say this correctly. Where's Stromile Swift? Yeah, like over here somewhere. Yeah, like Hakeem Warwick area, yeah. Chris Bosh. Hey, I would say Chris Bosh is A tier. He's the worst card in A tier for sure, but he's definitely A tier still. Very good. Serge Ibaka. He still plays defense and can shoot a little bit. Like, he's a day one card, so he's not good, but he's like low D tier. I put him by Jeff Green. Boozer, and Evo Boozer isn't terrible. I would put him by like Covington, Zion. He's better than Zion, I would say. Luis Scola, dude, yes, he's all around. He's not that terrible. It's just his jump shot is really atrocious. Belinka, he's slightly lower overall than like Pettit and Jerry Lucas, so for that reason I'll put him higher, just because he brings at least a little bit of flavor, at least something to the team. But yeah, F tier. Crochet's not great, but he's not terrible. He can stretch the floor. He plays like semi-competent defense. It's all right. Miles Bridges, I would say by like Bull area. This Chris Bosh is probably like low C tier. He's still good though. This is one of the more slept on cards in the game as well. Scalabrini, he's like better Crochet, so I'd throw him like over here. Larry Bird, he's still good enough to be very low D tier. Christian Laettner, oh, absolutely. Big Laettner is actually a very, very solid center, and for that reason, I'd probably put him relatively high up in C tier. Like, he's not as good as Kevin Love objectively, but like, he's close, and a badged up Jaylen Johnson is 100% better. Chris Webber. I might throw Chris Webber in B tier, because I actually think he's kind of decent. Like, right there would be appropriate for Chris Webber, I think. Chuma Okeke, big fan. A little bit undersized for sure, but I really, really like Chuma. PJ Tucker, love PJ Tucker. D tier, though. He might go in C tier because he's a really, really good... If he could play the small forward, I would put him in C tier, but I think because he only plays power forward center, I'm going to put him in D tier. Clark Kellogg, shout out to Clark Kellogg. He's like the best card in F tier. Maxed out Tim Duncan. He's up here in D tier as well. Cliff Robinson is like fantastic, but he's just super outdated, so D tier. Dan Issel, dude, the missile himself. Yeah, C tier. Dan Issel's kind of fire. Tim Duncan. Oh, yeah, I love Tim Duncan. I'm going to put him pretty high in B tier. I still think this card's really good. He's still my bench power forward for a reason. Big fan. Like, straight up. I love his jump shot. He's got a huge player build. He can't really dribble, but that's about the only thing he can't do. He kind of does everything else really well. Let me put Karl Malone ahead of him, which hurts me on a deep personal level, but it does need to be done. Let's put him right there. That's good. I like that. Danny Ferry. Yeah, Ferry's still good enough to be B tier. Danny Manning. Kind of not very good, but he's like C tier still. Like, he's got a pretty terrible jump shot, and he moves like just an absolute sack of potatoes, but like, he's got a good player build. He does look like he's kind of constantly slouched, though, which as somebody who is constantly slouched, I kind of do appreciate that. This Danny Manning's pretty bad. He came out day one, pretty terrible, trash. Worse than Dario Saric, I would say. Yes, correct. Dave DeBusschere. Ooh. DeBusschere is pretty solid in C tier. David West. Where's Scola at? Yeah, he's not that far off of Scola. Rodman, super outdated, but D tier. Rashard Lewis, I would say, is lower C tier. I think he's better than McDyess. I'm going to move McDyess down to like Josh Smith, Blake Griffin area. Yeah, I like that. Rashard Lewis, I like his spot right here. Yep. Sean Kemp. Kemp's good. C tier. Kemp's usable for sure. Rodman. Hunt for Glory Rodman's probably by Danny Manning. NBA 75 Rodman I think is a bit higher up because you can give him shooting badges. His jump shot is a little iffy, but he's definitely benefits from having those shooting badges for sure. Derek Jones Jr. I kind of don't like this card. I don't know what it is. He just drives me nuts, dude. I'm not a big fan. So if you want to put him in C tier, go ahead. Make your own list. I don't care. Pink Diamond Sean Kemp. Throw him by Zion. He's better for sure, but... Oh, Invincible Dirk, dude. Whew. S. Yeah, no question about it. He has one of the most uncontestable fakest jump shots in the entire game. His step back leaner thing that he does is ridiculous, and literally you cannot contest it. He flies back like 16 feet and shoots the three with his little high knee thing that he does. Stupid. I'm sure there's a more articulate way to describe what I just described, but I don't have it in this brain today. I don't. Al Harrington. Yeah, I mean, he's like D tier. He's all right. Dirk Nowitzki. Dunktober Dirk is better than everybody in F tier. I can say that. It's just another Al Harrington. Same card, whatever, same spot. Pink Diamond Dirk. Definitely a little disrespected for his time, but not good. Like D. Young Dolph. Young Dolph is up here. Young Dolph can get buckets. He can. He's pretty good. Not a lot of people have this card. I don't think I've ever actually run into one, but Dolph can get buckets for a reason. These Dolphs are still like head of the pack in D tier. Still very, very good. I would say I would rank it as such. Yeah, right here. Dolph, Cliff, other Dolph, Aaron Gordon, PJ. Yep. Sabonis. Yeah, I mean, low D tier. Amari. This card was pretty bad. This is the traditional Amari that we get every year. Pink Diamond Sabonis wasn't half bad. Like, I would throw him over here by, like, Dirk Diggler over here. Danielle Marshall. He's the best card in F tier. I used to love getting this card in draft mode. Everyone used to flame me all the time, dude. I'm sorry I did. Pink Diamond Timmy. He's up here. He's better. He's better than John Collins. Yeah, he is. John Collins. Why did I say it like that? Brandon Clark. I'm almost inclined to put Brandon Clark in B tier. And I think if you have a badged up Brandon Clark, like, almost called him Blandon Clark. Like, why did I do that? C tier would be appropriate, I think, though. Big Blake. Big Blake's pretty good. Yeah, he's pretty up there. I would say higher B tier. Elton Brands, he's pretty bad, but he's not quite F tier bad, so D. Dory Finney-Smith is very usable, and for that reason, I would throw him in C tier. This Dorian Finney-Smith, ooh boy, this card is pretty good. I think Grant Williams is slightly better, but this card is really nice. Personally, I think Boris Diaw is a little bit better, but I do think Dorian is better than all the other cards in B tier. I really do. Dougie McBuckets, dude. McBuckets is kind of good. C tier. Thurl Bailey. This Thurl's pretty good. He's not that much of a downgrade off of his Dark Matter, but he cannot have badges upgraded, which is a huge flaw for sure. But he's still not terrible. If you're using him, which I know some people are, you could do a lot worse. Jonathan Isaac. Isaac's still good. I would say right here would make sense for Isaac. He's still really nice. I think Grant Williams is more fun to use, but I think Isaac is objectively better due to his defense. That's my theory anyway. Sharif Abdul Raheem. Love Sharif Abdul Raheem, but C tier. Draymond. Draymond, for his incredible ability to play the small forward, he's one of the better small forwards in the game. I think deserves to be A tier for that reason. I do. And the fact that he's only 80k, I think those are both reasons to put him in A tier. This Draymond, I mean, he's up here. Yeah, D. Derek Jones Jr., this one's just super outdated. F. Zion, I hate Zion. I hated the card when he came out. I hate him now. D. This Draymond, yeah, wherever other Draymond is, I lost him. They're the same card. Elvin Hayes, yeah, he's F. Doesn't bring a whole lot of value to the squad. Let me just put it that way. This Timmy D, he does lack some badges that he's not able to get. So for that reason, I'd probably put him, I'd put him like right around Dolph Shays. He still brings a lot of the same things the other Tim Duncan brings, the power within Tim Duncan, but the fact the range, the limitless spot up is a huge, huge negative for sure. Evan Mobley, this one's going to be a contentious one, but I actually think Evan Mobley is still B tier. I'm of the opinion that Evan Mobley plays significantly better at the power forward than he does at the shooting guard or small forward. Like, he's out of position card. I do believe that. Rick Barry is straight. Cheeks. Evan Mobley. Yeah, Evan Mobley was fired this year for a reason. D tier, though. George McGinnis, he shouldn't be here, so I'm going to put him in trash tier, but I think he is objectively a little bit better than Dennis Rodman. Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon's B tier for sure. I mean, I would put him... I can't really put him too far off of Boris, Josh Smith, and Julius Randle. Like, I would say they're all kind of similar. I think Julius Randle's a little bit better than Aaron Gordon, but same kind of area, you know. This Anthony Davis, not very good. D. Glenn Big Baby Davis, you can put him in D if you want, but I hate him, so he's F. Like, Grant Williams. Yeah, Grant Williams, just like Dorian Finney-Smith, is a really, really useful lower overall card. I would actually use Grant Williams over, like, a lot of these cards. McBuckets, yeah. JT Thor is probably the only one that that's the first one that I have to think about where I'm like, damn, I don't know. Would I use Grant Williams over JT Thor? So that's where I'm going to put Grant Williams. I'm going to put Dorian Finney-Smith right there, too. I would use McBuckets over him, though. Let's see. Yee. Oh, yeah. Young Yee is still good. He's outdated for sure. I hope we get a new one soon. Beast Anthony Davis. I would put him like by Larry Nance. He's still good, but he's outdated for sure. He's better than Rodman. No, he's not, actually. He's not. Rodman can get shooting badges, and Anthony Davis can't. That is kind of huge. Jonathan Isaac. Yeah, Jonathan Isaac can still get buckets for sure. C tier. Amari Stoudemire, super low C tier. But he's okay. This card was a lot better than people gave him credit for, but he's still not good, though. Kenyon Martin Jr. I would throw him actually low C tier. I actually like this card a lot. I can't say he's that much worse than Chuma Okeke. Like, I can't. Yeah, I really can't. I put him by like Josh Smith and Cam Johnson, honestly. Garnett's like top of C tier. Garnett's fantastic, straight up. Is he B tier? I think he's a little bit outdated, but I do have AD up here, so it's kind of tough. I'm gonna go back to that. Kevin Willis. I actually think this card's not that bad, honestly. D tier. Kurt Rambis. He's the best card in trash tier. Salute Kurt Rambis. We love Kurt Rambis out here. Bob Pettit. I like Bob Pettit, but he's like C tier. You can make a case for B tier if you want, but I don't see it. Kyle Kuzma. Oh yeah, Kuzma's up there, dude. Like, Kuzma's really good. Honestly, I might even throw him over here. Kuzma's way better than I expected, honestly. Straight up. He's so much better than I thought. LaMarcus Aldridge. He plays really well at the center position. I will say that. So I'm going to put him like right here in C tier. He's still usable. Larry Legend. Forgot he was even here. Let's throw him over here. He's decent. Larry Johnson. It's criminal what they did to Larry Johnson. We need a new Larry card for sure. Yeah, here's Sabonis. Larry Markkinen. Yeah. F. Mo Lucas, as much as I like Mo Lucas, like if you have a badged up Mo Lucas, yeah, he's C tier, I guess. I'll throw him over here. Billy Cunningham, same thing. I would throw him by like Mo Lucas. Still get buckets though. MPJ, he's in the outdated super section down here. Miles Bridges is pretty good, like D tier though. Obi Toppin, I don't think is half bad. I would throw him like over by Amari and Dennis Rodman. He's decent, honestly. His Amethyst isn't bad either. I'd throw him by like Miles Bridges. Otis Thorpe shouldn't be here. I think he's actually the worst card on this list. Pascal Siakam, F tier. He's in the outdated super squad over here. This Pascal Siakam, not half bad. He's like towards the top of C tier, but C tier nonetheless. Same with Pat Burke. But people love Pat Burke. I just, he's all right. He's C tier. He's a free card from 2K. Like that we got in a locker code, so you know what I mean. Patrick Williams. Where is Dory Finney-Smith? Yeah, Patrick Williams goes right there. I personally prefer Dorian, honestly. I keep saying Dory, like from Finding Nemo, and I know that's not correct, but it just feels right. Pau Gasol. I actually love Pau Gasol. I literally would put him up by like Thurl Bailey. He is excellent at the center position. He plays well enough at the power forward. This card was just the best budget big man in the game for a long period of time. Paul Millsap. He's low C tier. He's not great, but he's like usable enough at this point. You shouldn't use him. Like you should have a better option, especially if you grinded all that way for him. Chances are you have a better option, but if you don't, on the off chance, like you could do worse, but at the same time, like just go buy Boris Diaw for 3,000 MT. You know what I mean? Go grab Josh Smith for 3,000 MT. Go get Grant Williams for free. Go get Aaron Gordon for 3,000 MT. There's so many other options, This Paul Millsap, D, real low D. Penny Hardaway. C tier. He's good enough that I think he deserves to be here. 6'7" isn't all that small, especially when you consider that Draymond is that same size and he plays a power forward semi well. This Penny's actually pretty good. Like Rick Barry. God, I hate this Rick Barry card, but he's like objectively C tier. Low C tier, but C tier. This one I'm confidently going to put in trash. I don't care. Like I would legitimately use every single one of these cards in F tier over Rick Barry. And does that stem from my personal hatred of this card? Entirely possible. Millard Fillmore looking ass dude. Tired of him. Robert Horry. Diamond Robert Horry's not half bad. I would put him by like Larry Johnson area. He's a good 3-and-D card. This one goes in the bottom, but he can still get buckets though. Ronnie. Yo, Ronnie base is actually low-key the best base in the game. I'm dead serious. For a big man. Watch. Mark my words. If they give Wilt Chamberlain, like if we get another Wilt in the near future or in the future period and they give him Ronnie base, he'll be the best center in the game and it won't even be close. Dead serious. Rudy. I love Rudy. I'm going to put him still low B tier. He's better than Evan Mobley, I think. Chris Webber. Yeah, I could say he's better than Chris Webber. He's better than Giannis. Duncan. Yeah. Dolph Shays. That's where I'll kind of draw the line on Rudy. I like Rudy a lot. If you have a badged up version, he's higher for sure. This Rudy's my boy. I'm going to put him at the top of D tier. Rory Hachimora, he's good. Thrown by like Miles Bridges. This one's lower. Scotty Barnes. Ooh. Real tough for Scotty Barnes. I would throw him over by like Jonathan Isaac, I think is where I would put him. I think Grant Williams is a little bit better, but this is kind of where I would rank him. I think that's appropriate. Serge Ibaka, I think is still really good. Like he's still really solid, like overall. I put him by like Grant Williams area. Like he's really, really decent still. I think he's still one of the best budget cards in the game, at least at the time. You know what I mean? He definitely was the best budget center for a while. Many a no money spent squad showed off the wonder that was Diamond Serge Ibaka. And I actually really hope we get another Serge Ibaka soon because Serge is just really good this year. Steve Novak. Shout out to Steve Novak. I mean, he's still like D tier. He could shoot. That's it though. Terry Cummings, like D. He's not very good. Thad Young, I actually think I'd put him by like Chuma and Boris Diaw. Like very good amethyst cards. They all deserve recognition. Thon Maker, granted he moves like a It's just so slow, dude. Like, so slow. It's disappointing because he moves so well in the past couple games, but I understand for gameplay reasons why he moves the way that he does. But I'd probably put him right here for that reason. Like, straight up, he used to move like a Toyota Supra, and now he kind of moves like a Chrysler Town & Country, which is like not exactly the most exciting ride in the world, so that's kind of why I would throw him there. Tom Chambers, sick mullet, terrible card. This Tom Chambers, not that terrible. I'd put him by like D tier. Terrible jump shot though. Trey Lyle's actually not half bad. I would throw him like over here. By like Rory. Yeah, he's not bad. Tyler Hansbrough, dude. Hansbrough is really nice, but he's C tier, objectively. Tyrone Hill's pretty terrible. Not gonna put him below my boy Kurt Rambis though. Kurt Rambis supremacy out here. Udonis Haslam. F. He's like basically Elvin Hayes. These guys are not really all that different. Wendell Carter. This one's going to be a surprise, but I actually think Wendell Carter is like C tier. He's actually really good, especially for a free card. Like really solid. I like that card a lot. Zach Randolph. Randolph's pretty good too. I'd throw him in like D tier behind Villanueva. No, not in front of Tim Duncan though. Absolutely not. Let's put him by like Rui. He's like slightly better than Rui, I think. And then we got Zion, who is a little bit small, but he can still hold it down. I think this card is really, really solid, so I'll put him right here. I don't know. What do you guys think of the list? Let me know down in the comments below. As always, it's been your boy Cheap Ludes, and we're going to end this video right by opening up some rock cards. Look, I didn't buy these cards at this giant flea market for no reason. I bought them to open them, so let's see what we got here. If I can get this open. This packaging is from 1992. I don't know how sturdy this is. Not incredibly sturdy, so let's see what rock stars we've packed here. Is there gum in here? Oh, I was going to say. I got the Grateful Dead's Bill Kreutzmann. Okay. All right. I don't know what that is. I think it's a sticker, though. That's pretty cool. It's the Iron Maiden guy, I'm pretty sure. It's tight. Let's see. This is just a contents thing. We got the entire Poison. We got every member of Poison. Look at Bret Michaels. Look at Bret Michaels. Fucking Rock of Love star. We got some dude named Reb Beach from the band Winger. Shout out to Winger, dude. No way. Got some dude named Chris Gates from Junkyard, which is about the most generic name I've ever heard for a band, period. We got a dude from Megadeth, also a super generic name. Sorry. We got Dave Bryan from Bon Jovi, so not Bon Jovi, unfortunately. We just got the entire group Skid Row. It's fantastic. Shout out to Sebastian Bach, dude. What's he doing? Probably being psychotic. I got another guy from Junkyard. Okay. We got a guy from Exodus. That's cool. We got the Sisters of Mercy, who look so hardcore, dude. I don't know who these guys are, but they look tight. Okay, we got the drummer of Anthrax. That's cool. He looks like a relatively well-adjusted gentleman. We got the band Testament, which is another terrible-ass name. Does everybody in the 90s just have an awful name? Yeah, I would say so. We got Rick Wright from Pink Floyd, who's looking real interesting. Look at this fit, dude. I don't even know if you guys can see. And then we got Eric Turner from fucking Warrant. Sweet cherry pie. That's them, right? I think so. I don't know, dude. I was born in 1992. I was born a year after these cards came out. I would imagine that a lot of you watching this video were born significantly longer after these cards came out in 1991. So, anyways, have a good night, you guys. Peace.